Final warning from Earth. Push us again and you will face annihilation. Part 1. The First Contact Gone Wrong. The year was 2347. Humanity had spread across 3 star systems. They built colonies on distant worlds. They created new homes far from Earth. But in the grand scale of the galaxy, humans were small. They were new. They were weak. The Dominion had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. 12 alien species served under their banner. They had conquered hundreds of worlds. They had crushed countless civilizations. To them, humanity was nothing, just another young species waiting to be controlled. Admiral Park stood on the bridge of his flagship. He was 63 years old. His hair had turned from years of war and worry. He had lost his wife and daughter in a raid 5 years ago. Since then, he had only one purpose: protect Earth, protect humanity. Today, that purpose would be tested. The envoy ship arrived at noon. It was massive, 10 times larger than any human vessel. Its dark purple hull blocked out the stars behind it. The alien ship moved slowly, like a predator that knew its prey could not run. Dr. Han stood beside the admiral. She was 40 years old with sharp eyes and a calm voice. She was the only human who could speak the language perfectly. For 20 years she had studied them. She understood their culture, their pride, and their cruelty. "They are hailing us," said the communications officer. Admiral Park nodded. "Put them through." The main screen flickered. A face appeared. It was not human. They had skin, 4 eyes, and no nose. Their mouths were wide and filled with small teeth. This one wore golden armor. He was important. "I am High Envoy," the alien said. His voice was cold and mechanical. "I speak for the Dominion. You will listen." Admiral Park said nothing. He waited. "The Dominion has watched your species," continued. "You have grown. You have spread. This is not permitted. You will now submit to Dominion rule." Dr. Han translated quietly for the crew. Some of them clenched their fists. Others looked afraid. "Your terms?" Admiral Park asked. Smiled. "It was an ugly thing. 50 million humans will be sent to us each year. They will serve as labor resources. Your fleet will be dissolved. Your weapons will be destroyed. In return, we will allow your species to continue existing." The bridge went silent. 50 million people every year as slaves. Admiral Park felt his heart turn cold. He thought of his daughter. He thought of the screams he had heard on that day 5 years ago. He thought of every human who had ever died under hands. "No," he said. His 4 eyes blinked. "What did you say?" "I said no. We reject your terms. Humanity will not submit. Humanity will not give you our people. Leave now and do not return." For a moment said nothing. Then he laughed. It was a horrible sound, like metal scraping against stone. "You are insects," he said. "Newly hatched insects. You have no fleet. You have no weapons. You have nothing. And you dare refuse us." "We dare," Admiral Park said. Leaned forward. His eyes burned with anger. "Then you will learn what happens to insects who do not know their place." The screen went dark. The envoy ship turned and flew away. Captain walked to the admiral's side. He was young, only 32, but he was the best pilot in the fleet. His hands were shaking, but his voice was steady. "Sir, what will they do?" Admiral Park stared at the empty screen. "They will hurt us. They will try to break us. And when they do, we will remember." 6 hours later, they attacked. They did not attack Earth. They attacked New, a colony world with 20 million people. It was a peaceful place. Families lived there. Children went to school there. Old people retired there. They burned it all. Their warships appeared from nowhere. Hundreds of them. They fired on the cities. They destroyed the hospitals. They collapsed the shelters where people tried to hide. The attack lasted 6 hours. When it ended, 18 million people were dead. Admiral Park watched the reports come in. Each number was a life. Each name was a story that would never be finished. He felt tears on his face, but he did not wipe them away. Dr. Han stood beside him. Her hands were shaking as she held her tablet. "They are calling it a demonstration strike," she whispered. "They want us to feel fear. They want us to surrender." Admiral Park closed his eyes. He saw his daughter's face. He saw 20 million faces on new. He made a decision. "Open a channel," he said. "Broadcast to every system, every station, every ship in the galaxy." The communications officer obeyed. "Channel open, sir." Admiral Park stood tall. He looked directly into the camera. His voice was steady and cold. "This is Admiral Park of Earth's United Fleet. I speak for all of humanity. To the Dominion, hear this message. You have killed 18 million of our people. You call it a demonstration. We call it murder. This was your only free act of aggression. The next will be answered. Push us again and you will face annihilation. This is not a threat. This is a promise." He cut the transmission. Across the galaxy, beings watched. Some laughed. Some ignored it. They called it the desperate cry of dying insects. But on Earth, in secret bunkers deep underground, something stirred. Machines that had slept for 200 years began to wake. Weapons that the galaxy could not imagine began to charge. Humanity was not weak. Humanity had been waiting. And now they were angry. Final warning from Earth. Push us again, and you will face annihilation. Part 2. The Silent Preparation. 3 months passed after the new massacre. The galaxy watched Earth closely. Spies sent reports every day. They said humanity was broken. They said humans were crying and mourning. They said Earth would surrender soon. The spies were wrong. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, in bunkers that stretched across 3 continents, humanity worked in silence. Thousands of engineers built machines day and night. Soldiers trained without rest. Scientists finished projects they had started 200 years ago. General walked through the main bunker. She was 55 years old with short hair and eyes that missed nothing. She had commanded armies on 5 different worlds. Now she commanded something far more important, Project Blackout. "Status report," she said to the engineer walking beside her. Engineer was 38 years old. He was thin and tired with dark circles under his eyes. He had not slept properly in weeks, but his voice was excited as he spoke. "We are on schedule, General. The Hellfire Drive prototypes are complete. Testing begins tomorrow." General stopped walking. "Show me." They entered a massive underground hangar. Inside was a ship. It looked like any other human warship, but General knew it was much more. Inside that ship was a weapon the galaxy had never seen. "The Hellfire Drive," said proudly. "It works as a normal engine. The ship can travel, fight, and operate like any vessel, but with one command the drive converts. It turns the entire ship into a guided weapon. The explosion can crack a planet in half." "The pilot," General asked. His face became sad. "Cannot survive. The Hellfire Drive is a one-way weapon. Whoever flies it knows they will not come back." General nodded slowly. She had expected this. "How many do we have?" 150 ships are ready. 300 more will be finished within a month." General placed her hand on the ship's hull. It was cold. "Good, very good." Far away from Earth, in space, another human worked in the shadows. Lieutenant had lived among aliens for 8 years. She had changed her appearance with surgery. She had learned to walk, talk, and think like them. Now she served as a servant in the household of a military commander. No one suspected she was human. Tonight she listened through the thin walls of her room. "The second fleet will be ready in 6 weeks, an officer said. 4,000 warships. We will burn Earth to ash." "And the humans will simply watch," another voice asked. "They have nothing. Maybe 200 ships. Old ships, weak ships. This will not be a war. It will be an execution." Laughter filled the room, recorded every word. Later that night, she sent a coded message to Earth. It flew through secret channels, bouncing between hidden satellites. It arrived on Admiral Park's desk 12 hours later. He read it 3 times, then he called a meeting. The War Council gathered in a bunker beneath the Pacific Ocean. Admiral Park stood at the head of the table. General sat to his right. Dr. Han sat to his left. Around them were the leaders of humanity's military. 6 weeks, Admiral Park said. 4,000 ships. This is not a raid. They mean to destroy us completely. A young officer spoke up. Sir, we have only 300 ships that can fight. Even with our new weapons, we cannot stop 4,000. Admiral Park smiled. It was a cold smile full of secrets. 300 ships that they know about, he said. General, tell them the truth. General stood. She pressed a button. The wall behind her lit up with images. Ships, hundreds of ships, thousands of ships. For 200 years, we have been building, she said. Every ship we reported as destroyed in training accidents was actually hidden. Every factory that supposedly closed was actually moved underground. Every resource we claimed to lack was actually saved for this moment. The officers stared in shock. We have 800 warships ready to fight, General continued. We have 150 Hellfire vessels. We have weapons that cannot imagine. We never trusted the galaxy. We always knew this day would come. Dr. Han spoke next. We intercepted their communications after noon. They are laughing at us. They think we are mourning and weak. They have no idea what we have been doing. Admiral Park stepped forward. In 6 weeks they will come to destroy Earth. Instead, they will meet humanity's true strength. We will not hide. We will not run. We will fight. And when we are done, the galaxy will never laugh at us again. The officers stood and saluted. Their eyes were bright with hope and fury. But not everything went according to plan. 3 days later, a scout ship stumbled upon one of the hidden shipyards. It was an accident. The ship had gone off course due to engine problems. But when its sensors detected the human vessels hidden in the asteroid field, the captain immediately tried to send a message. Alarms rang in the shipyard. Human defense guns fired. The scout ship exploded in seconds. But it was too late. A fragment of data had escaped, just a small piece, just enough. A communications officer frowned at his screen. The data was incomplete, corrupted, but he could see enough. Images of ships, human ships, many ships. He reported to his commander. The commander reported higher. Within hours, the information reached High Commander himself. Was ancient, over 400 years old. He had conquered 30 species. He had never lost a battle. When he saw the report, his 4 eyes narrowed. So the insects have been hiding weapons, he said slowly. Interesting, but it changes nothing. They may have more ships than we thought, but they are still humans, still weak, still afraid. He gave an order. Move the attack forward. We go in 4 weeks, not 6, and increase the fleet to 5,000 ships. I want no survivors. On Earth, Admiral Park received the news from Lieutenant. The attack was coming sooner than expected. The enemy fleet was larger than expected. He did not panic. He simply gave new orders. Work faster, he told his people. Sleep less. We have 4 weeks to save our species. Do not waste a single hour. And humanity worked, day and night, without rest, without complaint. They would be ready. They had no choice. Final warning from Earth. Push us again, and you will face annihilation. Part 3, the second strike. The day arrived. 5,000 warships appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system. They came out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. Each ship was huge, covered in dark purple armor. Their weapons glowed with deadly energy. Together, they looked like a wall of death moving through space. High Commander sat on his throne aboard the flagship. He was the oldest and most powerful alive. His skin was covered in scars from ancient battles. His 4 eyes watched the screen showing Earth in the distance. Such a small planet, he said. Such foolish creatures. They actually think they can fight us. His officers laughed. But when the scans finished, the laughter stopped. "Commander," a nervous officer said, "we are detecting 800 human warships in defensive formation around Earth." Leaned forward, 800. Our reports said 300. "The reports were wrong, Commander. There are definitely 800. For a moment was quiet. Then he smiled. 800 or 300, it makes no difference. We have 5,000. The ratio is still impossible for them. This changes nothing. He opened a communication channel. His face appeared on every screen in the human fleet. "I am High Commander of the Dominion. You have 1 hour to surrender completely. Open your shields, power down your weapons, prepare to receive our boarding parties. If you refuse, we will destroy your planet and everyone on it. You cannot win. You have no hope. Submit now, and some of you may live as servants." On the bridge of the unyielding soul, Admiral Park listened to every word. Around him, his crew watched with fear in their eyes. 800 against 5,000. The numbers were terrible. But Admiral Park was not afraid. He turned to Dr. Han. "Open a channel, broadcast to all frequencies." Dr. Han obeyed. "Channel open, Admiral." Admiral Park stood straight. He looked into the camera. His voice was calm and strong. "This is Admiral Park of Earth. I have a message for High Commander and for every being in this galaxy who is listening. This is the final warning from Earth. 3 months ago, you killed 18 million of our people. You called it a demonstration. You laughed at our pain. You expected us to break. We did not break." He paused. His eyes were like ice. "Push us again and you will face annihilation. We do not ask for mercy. We do not offer it. This is your last chance. Turn your fleet around and leave. Never return to our space. If you attack, we will destroy you, every ship, every soldier. This is not a threat. This is a promise from every human who has ever lived and died. We will not be slaves. We will not be victims. Turn back now or face the consequences." He cut the transmission. Across the galaxy, billions of beings watched. Some thought the human was brave. Some thought he was insane. The thought he was funny. High Commander laughed so hard that tears came from his eyes. "Turn back, turn back. I have conquered 30 species. I have burned 100 worlds, and this insect tells me to turn back." He slammed his fist on his throne. "All ships attack, kill them all, leave nothing alive." The fleet surged forward. 5,000 ships became a wave of destruction. The Battle of Earth had begun. Admiral Park watched the enemy approach. He felt peace in his heart. He had done everything he could. Now there was only the fight. "All ships," he commanded, "engage." The human fleet moved. 800 ships against 5,000. It should have been impossible. It should have been a slaughter. It was a slaughter, but not the kind they expected. Human ships were smaller, faster, and more agile. They danced between the massive cruisers. They struck weak points in enemy armor. They fired weapons that burned through shields like paper. Captain flew at the front. His ship twisted and spun through enemy fire. He destroyed 3 fighters in 10 seconds. Then he dove toward a carrier, firing everything he had. "For new," he screamed. The carrier exploded. But for every victory, there was a loss. Human ships died by the dozens. The numbers were too great. For every enemy ship destroyed, 2 more took its place. After 1 hour, the human fleet was down to 400 ships. After 2 hours, only 200 remained. After 3 hours, 80 ships still flew. Admiral Park watched his people die. He watched brave men and women sacrifice themselves. Each loss was a knife in his heart, but he did not cry, not yet. "Admiral," his tactical officer said, "we cannot win like this. We have killed over 2,000 enemy ships, but we have almost nothing left." Admiral Park nodded. He had always known this moment would come. "Open a channel to the Hellfire squadrons," he said. 73 ships received the message. These were special ships. Inside each one was a Hellfire drive. Inside each one was a pilot who knew they would not survive. "This is Admiral Park," he said to them. "You know what I am asking. You know what it means. I will not order you. I ask you, will you do this?" 73 voices answered. Some were young, some were old. All were determined. "For Earth, for our families, for humanity, we go." Admiral Park felt tears finally fall from his eyes. "Then go with our love, go with our thanks, go knowing that your sacrifice will be remembered forever." The 73 ships broke formation. They accelerated toward the center of the fleet. Their hellfire drives began to charge. Energy built inside them, growing hotter and brighter with every second. High Commander watched them approach. At first he did not understand. Then his sensors detected the energy readings. Then he understood. His 4 eyes went wide with fear. "All ships retreat, retreat." But it was too late. The first Hellfire ship reached a cluster of enemy cruisers. The pilot was a young woman named Lee. She was 26 years old. She had joined the Navy to make her parents proud. She whispered, "Mom, Dad, I love you." Then she pressed the button. The explosion was brighter than a star. It consumed everything within 10,000 kilometers. 40 ships vanished in an instant. Then another explosion, then another, then another. 73 suns bloomed in the darkness of space. When the light faded, 3,200 ships were gone, destroyed, erased. High Commander stared at his screen. His mouth hung open. He could not speak. He could not think. The insects had teeth after all. And they had just bitten very, very hard. Final warning from Earth. Push us again, and you will face annihilation. Part 4. The Annihilation. The fleet was broken. Where 5,000 ships had flown, only 1,800 remained. The rest were dust floating in space. The explosions from the Hellfire weapons had torn holes in their formations. Captains screamed orders. Officers ran in panic. Nothing made sense anymore. High Commander gripped his throne so hard his claws drew blood from his palms. His ancient mind could not accept what had happened. He had won 100 battles. He had never lost. Never. "Impossible," he whispered. "This is impossible." His flagship shook as another human attack struck its shields. On the screen, he could see the remaining human ships regrouping. Only 73 vessels remained. Broken, damaged, dying. But they were still fighting. "Commander," an officer shouted. "New contacts appearing behind us." Spun around, what? On the tactical display, 500 new signals appeared. They came out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. Human ships, fresh ships, ships that had not been in the battle. The Retribution fleet had arrived. General stood on the bridge of her flagship, the final answer. She looked at the chaos before her with cold satisfaction. They were scattered and confused. Their formation was destroyed. Their morale was shattered. "Perfect. All ships," she commanded, "engage. No mercy, no prisoners." The Retribution fleet surged forward. Their weapons fired without pause. They cut through the damaged ships like a knife through water. Each shot was precise. Each target was destroyed. High Commander watched his fleet die around him. Ships exploded. Escape pods launched. Some captains tried to surrender. The humans did not accept. "We gave you a chance," Admiral Park's voice echoed across all channels. "We warned you. You did not listen. Now you pay the price." His flagship shook violently. Alarms screamed. Fire broke out on 3 decks. "Commander, we must retreat," his first officer begged. "The fleet cannot survive this." Looked at the human ships surrounding him. He had conquered 30 species. He had burned 100 worlds. Now he would die here, killed by beings he had called insects. His last words were a scream of rage. A human torpedo struck the flagship's reactor. The explosion lit up the darkness for 1,000 kilometers. High Commander, the most feared warrior in the Dominion, was gone. With their commander dead, the surviving ships tried to run. They turned and fled toward deep space. Some made it to faster than light speed. Many did not. The human fleet followed. They chased the fleeing ships through the solar system. They hunted them into the darkness between stars. For the first time in galactic history, a lesser species pursued a Dominion fleet. When the hunting was done, only 300 ships had escaped. The Battle of Earth was over. Humanity had won. But it was not enough. In the bunker beneath Earth's surface, Admiral Park met with General and the War Council. Their faces were tired but determined. "They will come back," Admiral Park said. "The Dominion has thousands more ships. They will rebuild. They will return." General nodded. "Then we must make sure they cannot return. We must break them completely." Dr. Hand spoke carefully. "If we invade there, we become what they are, conquerors, killers." Admiral Park shook his head. "Not conquerors. We do not want their territory. We do not want their resources. We want them to understand that humanity will never be touched again. There is only one way to teach that lesson." He gave the order. The Retribution fleet would travel to they would end this war forever. 3 weeks later, 500 human ships arrived at the home system. It was a beautiful place. A golden sun, 3 green planets, billions of lived there, families, children, ordinary people who had never held a weapon. The Galactic Council sent emergency messages. They begged humanity to stop. They offered treaties, money, territory, anything. Earth's response was simple. "You watched 18 million of our people burn. You called it a demonstration. This is our demonstration." But Admiral Park was not a monster. He had lost his family. He understood the pain of innocent death. He would not become what he hated. He opened a channel to the people of the Dominion. "This is Admiral Park of Earth. I'm not here to kill civilians. I'm not here to destroy your cities. I'm here to end your military forever. You have 12 hours to evacuate all military installations. Move your soldiers away from their bases. Clear your weapon factories. After 12 hours, every military target on your planet will be destroyed. Your civilians will be safe if you obey. Your soldiers will die if you do not. The choice is yours." The leaders received the message. Some believed it was a trick. Some believed humans were weak and would not really attack. Some wanted to evacuate. They argued for 11 hours. In the end, pride won. The High Council decided that humanity was bluffing. No species would really attack after offering mercy. They ordered their military to stay in position. It was the worst decision in their history. 12 hours passed exactly. Admiral Park checked his sensors one final time. "They did not evacuate," his officer reported. "Military installations are still fully occupied." Admiral Park closed his eyes. He thought of 18 million people who had been given no warning, no mercy, no chance. He had offered what they had never offered humanity. They had refused. "Fire," he said. The Retribution fleet launched its attack. Precision weapons struck every military base, every weapons factory, every shipyard on the planet. The explosions were massive but controlled. They destroyed buildings but left nearby cities intact. When the attack ended, the military was gone, completely. Not one base remained. Not one warship survived. 4 million soldiers died in minutes. The civilians watched from their cities. They were unharmed. Their homes still stood, but their power was gone forever. Admiral Park broadcast one final message. "The Dominion no longer has a military. You are not our slaves. You are not our subjects. You are simply a people who attacked us and lost. Rebuild your world. Raise your children. Live in peace. But never ever forget this lesson. You pushed humanity. We pushed back. And we did not stop until there was nothing left to push." Across the galaxy, every species watched. The council members sat in shocked silence. They had ruled for 10,000 years. Now they were broken in a single day. And humans, the newly hatched insects, had done it. The galaxy would never see humanity the same way again. Final warning from Earth: push us again and you will face annihilation. Part 5: The New Order. 1 year had passed since the war. The galaxy was different now. The Dominion, which had ruled for 10,000 years, existed only in name. They still had their people, but they had no power, no military, no voice in galactic affairs. They were now a protectorate of Earth. Human ships patrolled their borders. Human observers watched their factories. They could not build weapons without permission. Some called it justice, some called it revenge, they called it humiliation. But they accepted it. They had no choice. On Earth, humanity celebrated and mourned at the same time. They had won an impossible war, but the cost had been terrible. 18 million dead on Nu, 200,000 soldiers lost in the Battle of Earth, 73 brave pilots who gave their lives in the Hellfire attacks. President No stood before the United Assembly. She was 52 years old with a kind face and steel in her voice. She had been elected after the war, chosen to lead humanity into a new age. "We did not seek this war," she said to the cameras. "We did not want it, but when our enemies came to destroy us, we did not run. We did not beg. We fought back with everything we had, and we won." The assembly members applauded. "But victory is not enough," she continued. "We must build something better. The old galactic order was based on fear and slavery. The strong crushed the weak. The powerful took what they wanted. That order ends today." She paused and looked directly into the camera. "Earth does not seek empire. We do not want to rule the galaxy. We want something simpler. We want peace. Real peace. Peace where no species is enslaved. Peace where no world is burned. Peace where every being can live without fear." Her voice hardened. "But make no mistake. If any species attacks another for conquest, if any power tries to enslave or destroy, humanity will respond. We will respond as we responded to the swift, brutal, complete. This is not a threat. This is a promise." The galaxy listened. Some species were relieved. They had lived under rule for centuries. They welcomed the change. Other species were afraid. They had seen what humans could do. They did not want to be next. The Galactic Council offered humanity a seat among the ruling powers. Ambassador, once a spy living in shadows, now spoke for Earth in the Great Chamber. "We refuse your offer," she told the Council. "We do not want a seat at a broken table. This Council watched the attack innocent worlds for 10,000 years. You did nothing. You let it happen." The Council members shifted uncomfortably. "We demand that this council dissolve," continued. "A new body must be formed. New laws must be written. Laws that forbid slavery. Laws that forbid conquest. Laws that protect every species, no matter how small or weak." The council debated for weeks. Some members resisted. They liked the old ways. They did not want change. Then Earth sent a simple message: accept the new laws or face the consequences. The council accepted. Far from the political chambers, Admiral Park traveled to Nu. The world was still burned. The cities were still ruins, but memorials had been built. Gardens had been planted. Life was slowly returning. He stood before the memorial wall. 18 million names were carved into the stone. It stretched for kilometers. He could never read them all. No one could. But he tried. He stood there for 6 hours reading name after name. Families, children, old people, young people, each one had been alive. Each one had mattered. Each one was gone because the thought humans were insects. Dr. Han found him there as the sun was setting. She did not speak. She simply stood beside him. "I wonder if we did the right thing," Admiral Park said quietly. "We killed millions of their soldiers. We broke their civilization. Are we any better than them?" Dr. Han thought carefully before answering. "They gave no warning before Nu. They killed civilians for fun. We warned them. We offered them a chance to leave. We spared their civilians when we could. We are not the same. But we still killed. Yes, we killed to survive. We killed to protect. We killed so that no other world would become another new. She looked at the wall of names. If we had done nothing, how many more walls would there be? How many more names? Admiral Park had no answer. Perhaps there was no answer. Perhaps some questions could never be fully resolved. He touched the wall gently. "Sleep well," he whispered to the dead. "We will not forget you. We will never forget." 3 months later, Ambassador received a strange transmission. It came from the edge of explored space, far beyond territory, far beyond anywhere humans had ever traveled. The message was in an unknown language, but the meaning was clear. Someone out there had detected humanity's broadcasts. Someone had been watching. Someone was curious. And they wanted to meet. Brought the message to President No. They read it together in silence. "What do you think?" the president asked. "Friend or enemy?" Shook her head. "Impossible to know. They could be peaceful. They could be dangerous. They could be something we cannot even imagine." President No looked out her window at the stars. Somewhere out there, a new species was waiting. Perhaps they would become allies. Perhaps they would become enemies. Perhaps they would change everything humanity knew about the universe. "Send a response," she decided. "Tell them we are willing to talk. Tell them we hope for peace. But also tell them our history. Tell them what happened to the... Make sure they understand exactly who they are dealing with." Nodded, "And if they come with weapons, if they come to conquer." President No smiled. It was not a warm smile. "Then they will learn the same lesson they learned. Humanity will not be enslaved. Humanity will not be destroyed. And anyone who tries will face the consequences." She looked back at the stars. "We gave them a final warning. We will give the same warning to anyone else. Push us and you will face annihilation. We do not want war, but we will never lose one. Not anymore. Not ever again." Outside, the stars shone cold and bright. Somewhere among them, new challenges waited. New friends, new enemies, new dangers. But humanity was ready. They had been tested in fire. They had survived. They had won. And the galaxy would never forget it. The end.